Hello traders, I've just entered a trade. We're about to run a session right now, and I'm reviewing 5 trades, but I do need to quickly manage this trade. So just note here, I have gone short, so I am short on this trade, and we could find a lot of support here at this black EMA. So I'm going to bring my stop down and just sort of lock in 2 ticks. Hopefully I can get through it, but we get a lot of support here. This is a major EMA on one of our anchor charts. Now I am targeting 10 ticks. Either way, it is the London Open right now. It is 2 a.m. Central. You can be trading scalping a market, of course, any time of day. Well, the markets are open 23 hours a day, and it looks like it's going to bounce here. In a way, I should have just taken $1,000 off, or just taken the 8 ticks off when we hit the 200 EMA down here. Now what will probably happen is we've now formed a new lower low. We may get a bounce here, then form a new lower high, but we shall see. And you can see here all our EMAs, they're starting to fan, they're starting to roll over. One of the challenges has been the last hour or so we've been very flat. So come on, get down for me so we can get on with our presentation. Note down here we've got the current day's low. I might even extend my target, because what can happen is we pop through this major EMA, we could have a really strong move. So what I'll do is look, I've locked in 2 ticks. We are live. It's 2 a.m. bit after 2. Get past this. My target is 3.5 a day, 350 per contract, but as I mentioned, this can give us a lot of support or resistance. In this case, support, and let's see if we can get through this. Just checking a few things here on the other screen, so you can see here we're really finding support at this right now. And if we go to actually an anchor chart, where is that? That's oil. You'll actually see here, see down here, we've got one of our major EMAs. So this can give us a lot of support. We bounce off it regularly, and if we look back here, see these bounces, so it's not uncommon. And as you get to know and understand the science of trading, if I can put it that way, you get to understand how to trade pivots and of course these major EMAs. So let's see if we can pop through. Good chance if we do get some selling pressure, as I mentioned, we could get some real follow through on this. Either way, this is a no risk trade for us right now. Currently we're up 800 on this right now. Oh, you can see the figure there anyway, but I've got a feeling we're going to bounce, and then I'd be looking for another trade in this region. Now we've got the Iran war on, so who knows what can happen. We may rally straight back to the long side. So now we're out of that trade. We sort of picked up, well, we're up 254. So let's see if we get another setup just here, or another potential short. I want you to remember, traders, down here we've got the current day's low. We love to go down and retest the high, or sorry, retest the low, or if we're trading long, we love to go back up and test the high of day. Now if we have a quick look at oil, and unfortunately my pretty picture there, let me just turn that off. If we look at oil here for a moment, what's oil doing? Stop that from moving. Okay, now we can see oil has really been rallying. Now what that quite often means is with the ES, that the ES will fall, but not always. So we've got to be very careful. It doesn't always do that. So let's go back to the ES for a moment. Now we'll get on with our presentation. Now just here, this is where I could very well get a short. All of the setups that I teach my members are all pattern based. So everything I trade here is based upon a pattern, and they're also very much rules based. So we'll just wait. I might even let me just get the disclaimer over and done with and get this done. We might just see if we can get another trading live here before we continue. So in today's session, I was going to play back a live session where we've 5 trades, 4 wins, 1 break even. Very quickly, I do have to mention there is a risk in trading. Please don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Stay on the simulator until you're consistently profitable. Now traders, I run a live trading room 3 days a week and also coaching sessions, and I'm just watching the bounce right now. And so what I'm going to do is actually invite you along to come and have a free pass to see how I trade. And so in these sessions I'll play back live trading sessions. I'm also teaching money management rules, basically a whole lot of tricks and techniques on how to scalp and day trade both the futures and the forex market. And on top of that, this is free, so a free 2-hour session. You can choose either a Tuesday or a Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And also I'll send you twice a week two training sessions of recaps of some of my live trading, and I'm just keeping an eye on this to see if we can get another trade in. Now also, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, and please give me a big thumbs up. It keeps me motivated. But sign up, you'll see a pop-up there, and I'm just watching. The market's very flat where so we'll just go back. We'll come back to this. Okay, so please subscribe. Let's just go back to this for a minute. See this just here? So just there, I'm getting what we call this is called a strength trade just here. Now we'll see if I get filled, and if I do get filled, just we are very flat. Okay, so note that I recommend all new traders set this zone out. Okay, so what you want to see is a new higher high with a new higher low. Now if we do get filled here, and I'll cancel this in a moment because we may even reverse here. Let me cancel this order. We generally expect to run up to the pivot and hopefully push through the pivot. Now we can see way up above, and this gives you an idea. We've been in a really tight trading range today, and I'm just watching this. Let me just go to this chart because oh no, what's that? 07. We could see here I've got a potential entry here at 07. Okay, now my challenge is here, and I'm going to take it, is there's a very good chance also we could bounce off this level. But I'm looking at my higher time frames, and my higher time frames basically been giving me lower highs. What that usually means is we'll make lower lows. So we'll see what happens here, and I'll go back to my chart just here. So here I've got a maximum stop of 10 ticks per contract, and I've got a target here of 10 ticks. And for members watching this is basically a slingshot on the anchor chart 1, but it's a high risk area. Now it's so much easier when you've got a clear fanning of the EMAs. Fanning is where you see your EMAs fanning apart. Okay, here at the moment we've got spaghetti, they're all together. Now I might even pause the video for a moment and before I continue with the presentation, so I can just show you how I'd manage this live. Now we can still see we're just sitting here on our major EMAs. It's now 10 minutes after the London Open. So as I mentioned, this is a high risk trade. Now when you are in a trading range, we sell you'll sell the outer edges or buy the outer edges. Don't fiddle with the middle, as we say. Okay, so here it is a bit of a range, and normally speaking, when we have the market open at 6 p.m., that is, it closes at 5 p.m. Eastern and reopens at 6, you'll usually get 3 or 4 hours of a trending market, then it'll slow right down. Now we are in the summer holidays in the US, which means the market can be a lot lower volume than what we normally have. And just looking at this here, we're sort of just waiting to see what will happen here. Certainly I want it to go short. Okay, so we are short 10. I might even tighten up my stop in case it flares to the long side. So now I've got a 9 tick stop loss per contract. The maximum stop on a 2 tick I'll ever use is a 10 tick stop. Now we still have to be careful if we get back down to our major EMA. Now what I'll do then is go to break even, lock a few ticks in, because if we can break that, there's a very good chance we'll head down to the low of day. So I'll just pause this again. Now for my members watching this, we can also see just here that my long-term stochastic is down, so is my MACD. So, and you can just see since so a couple of hours ago, it's just been very lackluster. Now it's actually rather unusual that at 2:14 a.m. 15 minutes after the London Open, that we're still just doing this. We generally get some great trends set up. Now also, just while we're waiting here for a moment, may as well make this really educational. If we get some fanning here, that is, we roll over, quite often it will identify the start of a new trend. To net 350 a day, you only need 3 net 10 tick trades a day. Now if you can learn how to identify the start of a new trend, which is very easy, it allows you to go for a larger target. So what we're after here is either 3 10 tick net trades a day, that's after any losses, or 4 8 tick trades a day. Now rarely does it happen quite like that, because what you'll usually find is we might pick up 5 ticks on one, we might go for a larger target on another, and the reason is the difference is what's in front of us. Like here we had a brick wall, and as I mentioned, I probably would have been better picking up $1,000 out of that instead of just a couple of hundred. However, quite often when we've been in a sideways range, your breakouts can really be very strong and give you some great moves. So we're now 20 minutes or 16 minutes into this, and we've barely moved. Very unusual. Okay, is this finally going to be it? Now as I come down and hit our support level, I will once again go to break even. So basically that's 8 ticks away. Now my target is actually 10 ticks. So here we've made a little lower low. Anything can still happen until we really start to see the market roll over and we get that fanning, which we don't quite have yet. Now once again, you can register for a free pass to come and join me in one of my 2-hour sessions, so you can see exactly what I do. Now we don't usually have a lot of and actually this week was the first time I've ever offered this. So we actually have nearly 300, actually I think it's now over 300 regular members now for both my live trading room and my coaching room. So whether or not you're an experienced trader or brand new, what I teach is for you, whether you want to increase your bottom line if you're experienced, or maybe if you're a newer trader struggling. Now at this stage you can look at all of these indicators, and for members watching, yes, there is a bit of a T10 there as well. It can seem a little confusing at first, but it's a bit like driving a stick shift. Once you have the rules explained, it's really straightforward. So here we go, hopefully. So finally breaking down to the short side. I mentioned we'd had some lower highs, and usually we get some trends kicking quite strongly. It's now nearly 18 minutes past the hour. And do you have to get up and trade in the middle of the night? Absolutely not. by the way. In my part of the world, this is basically 5:20 p.m. so it really suits me. Now I'd like to wait until I get to 8 ticks. I'll probably just lock 2 ticks in again and see if I can get through this, or maybe not. Look, 1, 2. Look, I'm going to lock this in because I do want to get on with the presentation and run you through those other live trades and explain my money management and exactly what I'm looking for when I trade. Now I'll wait until I hit my support level down here. If you go to break even too early, you can be whipsawed out, only to see it turn around and come down and hit your target. Be very unusual that I don't get down here and hit this support area. Now if I was after only 8 ticks, I'd normally go to break even at plus 6 ticks. However, in this session I'm normally after a 10 tick move, just subject to what's in front of me. So another tick and I'll make it one more tick and I'll go to break even. Once again, I don't want to get whipsawed out of this. I'm just going to pause it for a moment. Okay, so now we're going to go to break even, lock a couple of ticks in. Now just because we've locked 2 ticks in, and what I'm teaching you here you can apply to any market, it really doesn't matter what and now we're pushing through. As I mentioned, very good chance we're going to come down to the day's low. With any luck, I'll come down a few more ticks, then get a pullback and get another entry. But these techniques you can apply to any market, any time frame. I prefer to teach traders how to trade Renko. I do trade tick charts as well, but Renko is my focus because it just makes identifying our trades so much easier. And for members watching this, yes, it was a T12 there, and for those that a T12 by the way is a long trade off a major support area. I'm just slapping myself in the I just realized looking up there at another chart, so never mind. Now usually we'd expect price action to come up and hit this area. Now look, I'm already well and truly into this video, and what usually happens is traders stop watching it after 10-15 minutes. So what I'm going to do a part 2 of this. So make sure you register so you can have a free pass, and we're dropping, and we'll go back and check this in a minute, so you can come along to one of my 2-hour coaching sessions if you can't make it to those sessions, and or you can get twice a week a video recap of live trades that I've taken, where I play back the recording and I give you an overview of exactly what I'm looking for. And as I said, this is the first time I've ever offered this. Now in the next follow-up video we're going to be chasing this, reviewing this recap. Now by the way, I trade live every day. Now this is where are we here? So this is what date is this one? That is the 13th of the 7th. So my results, where are we here? Where are you? 2. Sorry everyone. So 3 wins, 1 loss on the 13th. The 14th, yesterday, where are we? So this is the 14th. We had 4 from 4. This is this was really easy, traders, bouncing off the high. I recommend that new traders, and let me just expand this for a moment, I really recommend that new traders don't counter trend trade until you're consistently profitable. So I had a really nice bounce here, and it's called a 1D, once again a pattern based trade. I then took a pivot magnet, and then I had a nice retracement and a bounce to the short side. And if you read that there, why, You'll sometimes see me in my videos that I'll sometimes bring my, instead of a 10 tick target, I might bring it up to only 6, even though it's logical I target 10 if I hit my, because I may be near hitting my daily target. And you can see here I trade a lot around the London session. Once again, it suits me, my time of day. And usually traders, I've wrapped my trading up usually within 30 minutes to 1 hour maximum. So for the young guns watching this, you can hang around and trade for hours if you wish. And here we go. As I mentioned, the low of day will make a great target. Now when we do hit the low, we usually find we push through by a few ticks, and that's how we keep making lower lows or higher highs. You'll usually find on the ES we'll push through by 3 or 4 ticks. So that is why quite often you'll see that I sell very close sometimes to the lower high of day, because we quite often will push through and it makes a great scalp. Now on the other hand, you get these major EMAs where we bounce off these EMAs. So you've got to be very careful, and I call it having blue skies ahead. Do you have blue skies ahead? Meaning, are there any major EMAs or pivots in front of you? If we look down here, note we've pushed through by 1 tick. I expect to push through by at least 3, and this would then make a great target, this next pivot. In the end, targeting pivots, and by the way, we're up $1,212.80 after that. Okay, so so my targets, I'll keep doing some trading, but after this, but here we've broken through the pivot now, sorry, through the low of day. There may be a good chance we'll come down and hit the pivot. Now if we don't, we will most likely have a retracement, then have a bounce up here off the major EMAs. Now for members watching, if you're wondering, yes, it is a T3. Now a T3, for those watching, is a reversion to the mean setup. You can't keep falling the way we're falling. And some years ago, I've been day trading now for 28 years, I discovered a formula, very simple one. And when I say a formula, so if you're so many ticks away from the 34 EMA, and we just multiply it on the higher time frame, so we have different formulas for different time frames. Once you learn, it's just easy to calculate. We then have a very good chance of bouncing back to the major EMA here. Now when you've also got, and you can see this gold bar status indicator, so that is telling me I've got a T3. Now what's below us? We've got another pivot. Now have we got a T3 on a higher time frame? I now have a double T3. So what that means is I've got a very good chance of then having a great retrace. Now remember I mentioned about the London Open week. Finally the trend has kicked in. Okay, so could we be trailing? Absolutely. But as you know, I wanted to, and by the way, I don't usually trail, just to let you know. What I like to do is maybe go for a larger target if I'm going into a pivot, or the low of days. I mentioned we usually kick through by 3 or 4 ticks, sometimes like this, and I wait for a retracement and get back in again. Now remember what we'd be after here, and I may as well quickly show you this because I think this is important, is that if you go for 350 a day within 9 weeks, and how this compound table works, you only start trading an additional contract every time you get 6,250 in your account. I have many professional full-time traders in my room, so we talk money management is number one. Fundamentally, number one, you're a money manager. You've got to manage your account. Now if you're trading the 2 tick, you need over $6,000. Now your broker will say, and you might be thinking, no I don't, I can day trade for 500 to 1,000. Yes, that is correct, but if you've got a stop loss of 10 ticks, that's $125. So if you don't have that money, start on the micro, go for the equivalent. The micro is 10% of a value. You need 625 within 11 weeks, going for 35 a day. Okay, you've now potentially got the funds to roll over and start trading the big contract. Look where you are in 9 weeks, 10 grand a week. Look where you are in 12 weeks, potentially $25,000 a week. For the young guns watching this that want to that are quite happy to keep trading, go for 500 a day. Look where you are in 6 weeks and 8 weeks. Now the question then is how do I achieve those goals? And this is where it comes to making sure we're trading in the direction of the trend, or knowing how to trade breakouts or reversals. Very important. Now once again, traders, you'll see a lot more of this in my videos and in my coaching sessions. Now there was your T3. So remember I mentioned we're heading up towards a mean reversion trade. There it is. Now how do you know your entry? Number one, we're bouncing off the pivot. Now when we come down to a pivot, now I treat the lower high of day like a pivot, but there's nothing like an actual floor pivot. They're a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now our target, when we have a double T3, what you'll notice is, look, that looks like divergence, but you don't have to have any divergence. Look at that there. This formula that I discovered, and it was just through trial and error over the years, it kicks butt, particularly when you've got a double T3. That is where you've got a mean reversion on your entry chart and your anchor chart 1. Now for newer traders, I'd also be saying don't trade these initially. You want to learn how to trade with the trend, then eventually start trading reversion to the mean trades. Now what can we see here just before I finish up? See this is called angulation. For wide of the angulation traders you're getting, every trader needs to know this. Now some traders are switching off. They wonder why they're not making it as traders. They don't want to know this. You know, there's a saying that what you don't know can't hurt you. That is so untrue when it comes to trading. You see, when you have major angulation, we'll quite often have what we call a two-legged pullback. Very easy to learn what it is, very mechanical. So what we look for here is either a two-legged pullback, or we'll look for what we call a T20 trend continuation setup, or a T10. Now the code doesn't matter much, they're just continuation setups. Now note here we pull back to these EMAs. So I've also discovered the key EMAs that we use for major support resistance levels. So as I said, we'll make this video one. Make sure you click on the link, you like my video, come to one of my sessions, because there I'm really drilling down deep on how I trade. You see, in those sessions I'm training my members, so there's no selling involved. It's all about how to day trade the markets. All right, traders, hope to see you in the next in one of my sessions, and in the next session we will run through this in great detail. Thanks, traders.